Now at 4 o'clock, not guilty. Marine veteran Daniel Penny acquitted in the subway death of Jordan Neely. The protest and calls for justice outside a courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
Plus, we are continuing to follow breaking news where police are questioning a person of interest in the murder of a United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson.
And good afternoon to you at 4 o'clock. I'm David Ushering.
I'm Natalie Pasquarello. We want to get right out to News 4's Mark Santia. He is live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That's where a man is being interviewed by the NYPD right now. Mark.
Yeah, Natalie and David, Altoona is home to about 40,000 people. As you can imagine, this is causing quite a stir. You take a look behind me, media and residents here surrounding the police station. Moments ago, an NYPD caravan pulled up. Several NYPD detectives, including Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry, arrived here at the Altoona police station. This is where the person of interest is being held, and this is where the investigation is entering another phase. A 5-day nationwide manhunt coming to an end 300 miles from New York City. Police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, arresting 26-year-old Luigi Mangione in connection with the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police.
The McDonald's employee recognizing Mangione from one of these photos sent out by the NYPD after Wednesday morning's attack in Midtown Manhattan. Altoona police questioning Mangione, finding a trove of evidence, including a fake New Jersey ID and a gun, police described as a ghost gun.
Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person, as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder.
Police say they also found a mask and clothes matching what the shooter was wearing on Wednesday, and police found a 3-page handwritten note that speaks to a possible motive.
Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Mangione is currently being held at the Altoona police station. Late this afternoon, NYPD officers and the FBI arriving to question him. Police crediting the public for the crucial tip that led to Mangione's arrest.
We should never underestimate the power of the public to be our eyes and our ears in these investigations.
Back here live in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where there's a heavy NYPD police presence. 2 more detectives, Natalie and David, just walked into the police station there. Now, Mangione's being held here. At this point, he is not charged with the Midtown murder. He's currently being held here on gun charges. We're live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Likely a long few hours there, Mark. Thank you for updating us from the scene of where this person of interest is being held. There are, of course, a lot of questions about the identity of the man who is going to be questioned by police.
I want to bring in Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Deans, picking up our team coverage from the newsroom. John.
Natalie, David, the man in custody on the weapons charge in Pennsylvania appears to have an Ivy League education with a master's degree. And investigators are looking at angry writings posted online about healthcare firms and past acts of violence to see if those postings are linked to that man and this murder investigation here. Investigators say the strong person of interest is Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, and he was allegedly carrying this ghost gun at the McDonald's along with a suppressor. They say it is similar to the kind of weapon used in the shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, but they say ballistics and other work still needs to be done. They also say Mangione was found carrying this fake New Jersey ID with the name Mark Rosario. Several officials say that is the same name and same ID used by the suspected killer who checked into this Upper West Side hostel in the days before the shooting. Investigators providing more detail about Mangione's background earlier.
He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York.
Pennsylvania authorities are holding Mangione on a gun charge for now, as NYPD investigators go to Altoona to question him. Officials say he was carrying a 3-page letter complaining about companies at the time of his arrest at that McDonald's.
Officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset.
Investigators are also looking into social media and whether the person of interest had complained about having past back problems that had needed medical attention. They were also looking at other past, quote, revolutionary-type writings posted to social media to see if Mangione is behind those writings. A person with the same name appears to have been a high school valedictorian, and a spokesman at the University of Pennsylvania says Mangione graduated from there with a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering. Investigators tell us they're looking to see if Mangione arrived at the McDonald's in Altoona via bus from Philadelphia. The NYPD said last week that they believe the suspected gunman left New York from the George Washington Bridge bus terminal via bus. The NYPD and FBI have been following hundreds of tips and leads of possible names from New York to Atlanta to Pennsylvania. But this tip from workers and customers at that McDonald's appears to be the big break.
He's going to be facing gun charges there, and at some point we'll work out through extradition to bring him back to New York to face charges here.
Investigators also looking at other online postings making reference to the past Unabomber Ted Kaczynski and whether the suspect here posted any of those writings. Again, with a gun allegedly recovered in Altoona, the NYPD still continues to try to follow up leads in Central Park, where they're looking to see if the suspected gunman left any additional evidence behind as he fled that murder scene. Natalie?
Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dienst with new information. John, you mentioned the city because right now, as you said, NYPD fanning out all across our city looking for more clues into the investigation and into the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Let's get down to News 4's Jessica Cunnington picking up our coverage from City Hall. Jessica?
Yeah, guys, the NYPD brass and also the mayor, we heard from them here at City Hall today how this investigation is still very much pushing forward in our city. And they also spoke about how all of the work so far led to today's major development. NYPD divers back in the water in Central Park this morning looking for evidence related to the deadly attack. Mayor Adams, joined by NYPD Commissioner Tisch and Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny, reacting to the arrest in Pennsylvania.
We have a strong person of interest in the shooting that shook our city. Our officers have been working around the clock. Many of them did not go home.
Detectives still pouring through hundreds of hours of video across the city to try to piece together the suspect's every move while he was here 10 days before the shooting, starting November 24th. Investigators believe after the targeted shooting of CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown on December 4th, he hopped on a bike and went into Central Park, ditching his backpack and eventually the bike. The suspect, the night of the shooting, last seen here at the George Washington Bridge bus terminal in Washington Heights, where police believe he got onto a bus. It is still not clear which one and how he got to Altoona, Pennsylvania, but his face in this photo, unmasked, captured at the Upper West Side hostel he stayed at, spread nationwide. The mayor praising the NYPD's work and decisions to get the images out there.
Someone, a McDonald's employee, did something we ask every American to do. If you see something, say something, but most importantly, do something. It was crucial that we were able to remove him off the streets of America, and we were going to seek him out no matter where he was at the time.
So investigators still trying to piece together the puzzle of his time here in New York City, as again, officers and detectives still digging through Central Park and video as well. Live at City Hall, I'm Jessica Cunnington. Back to you.
So much to learn. All right, Jessica, thank you. As we have throughout, we want to bring in the former chief of department at the NYPD, Terry Monahan, to us. Terry, before we get specific, your initial thoughts when you heard what you did about what happened this afternoon.
Listen, when you see him grabbing 5 days later, still carrying the gun, still carrying the same ID that he utilized when he checked into the hostel that everyone knew he was at, kind of surprised me that he wasn't more meticulous, more careful, especially how careful he was leaving the city. You would figure he would have gotten rid of a lot of that information. I was very surprised to see he had it, but it makes the case so much stronger for the cops. Now that he has all that information, once the ballistics comes back, I mean, they got him pretty solid.
What do you think is the motivation behind that? A lot of people talking about why did he still have a gun on him? They're talking about that handwritten note.
Is this an opportunity where he wants to send whatever his message is out, be caught, let people know he's the one that did it, and try and give whatever his manifesto may be. We'll see. Time will tell.
Walk us through this aspect, Terry, in that there was a picture out, and everybody has theories. They're like, well, why aren't they calling him a suspect yet? And they're still not calling him a suspect yet. There are methodical things that have to happen. Walk us through a little bit.
There's a lot of things that have to go on. He has a lot of information that makes you believe he is the individual. But now you want to tie the ballistics together, that this is the gun. He's a gun that resembles it, but now ballistically it'll be tested. Will it match the shells that are on the scene? There's a bottle with DNA on it. Is his DNA going to be on that bottle? You want to put all this together so when you present the case to a grand jury and eventually to a trial, you have everything so that you can get not only an arrest, but an indictment and then a conviction.
Speak a little bit to a possible motive here. We heard Jonathan Dienst talk about the angry writings possibly on social media. There might have been word about some type of surgery, a back surgery he went through. We know he graduated, they said, from UPenn. That was confirmed, Ivy League school. Talk a little bit about possible motive, what you've learned. He's
a very intelligent individual. When I understood a valedictorian at his high school, Ivy League school. So whatever his message is, I think his motivation will come out in the near future, that he's going to want to say it. I don't think he'll be quiet. We don't know. I don't think he's spoken to anyone yet. It'll be very interesting over the next couple of hours when detectives go to interview him, if he's willing to explain everything, tell the world why he did what he did. An event like this, a lot of times, that individual has a message that he wants to spread out. He's caught. He's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. Is there a message that he's going to try and get out? We'll see as time goes on.
Took a few days, Terry, even after a photo was out there. Does that surprise you now that we are here at this moment where they believe they have found the person?
This is what we talk about. You put out that photo. There were hundreds of tips coming in, and you had to go through each and every single tip. They were down in Atlanta. They were all over the country responding to tips. All of a sudden, Altoona, someone sees them. Not only is it just a tip that had to be not so much vetted, but once you grab them, there's a gun and there's that ID in the thing. It went from 0, to 100 in really just a matter of minutes.
All of us could use a little bit of luck and good timing as well, and everything that we do in terms of trying to do the right thing. All right, Terry Monahan, thank you, former chief of department. Also, another big story today here locally for us. A jury declared Marine veteran Daniel Penny not guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely.
And this decision comes after the judge had tossed out that manslaughter charge last week. Let's get out to News 4's Chris Glorioso. He's live in Lower Manhattan with reaction from outside of court. Chris.
Natalie, David, when the jury foreperson read this verdict, there were outbursts in the courtroom of both anger and relief. Jordan Neely's father could be heard cursing, and court officers escorted him out of the courtroom. Meanwhile, Daniel Penny and his defense team swiftly exited the courthouse without making any public statement. They were later photographed in the New York Post celebrating at a nearby bar.
No justice! What do we want? Justice!
The Daniel Penny acquittal prompting instantaneous protest outside the courthouse. After a 7-week trial and 5 days of deliberation, 12 Manhattan residents voted unanimously, deciding Penny, the 26-year-old former Marine, did not break the law when he placed a mentally ill subway rider in a nearly 6-minute chokehold back in the spring of last year. Jordan Neely did not survive the encounter, but jurors agreed with Penny's defense that the video-recorded neck restraint was not a felony.
Look, I think he's a completely innocent American. He's an American hero.
Throughout the trial, supporters of Daniel Penny called the defendant a good Samaritan for jumping in to confront an unstable man shouting violent threats at fellow commuters. But prosecutors argued Penny went too far when he continued the chokehold even after the subway doors opened and Neely appeared to be no longer moving. Jordan Neely's father reacting to the verdict with disgust.
I had enough of this. The system is rigged.
After the not guilty finding, Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network issued a blistering statement saying this verdict represents the blatant legalization of civilian vigilantism, sending a dangerous message that citizens can now take matters into their own hands. Not only here in New York, but across the nation, the case against Penny sharply divided opinions, with people looking at the same chokehold video, but drawing vastly different conclusions about self-defense, about safety on the subway, about mental health, and about race.
Why would anyone go on a subway and not protect the innocent people that are on the subway. This is not about color of skin. There were black people on that subway train. There were white people on that subway train, and Daniel Penny was protecting all of them.
How could he be possibly a hero when he held an innocent man who was just hungry, begging for food for 6 minutes? It's insane.
Today, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg issued a statement accepting the jury's verdict and thanking them for their service. Meanwhile, Daniel Penny is still facing a civil wrongful death lawsuit filed by Jordan Neely's father. He is seeking to hold Penny financially accountable, even though the jury today decided that he is not criminally liable for those actions. And of course, opinions on that case likely to be just as divided as on the criminal one. For now, reporting live outside Manhattan Criminal Court, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Thank you so much for the latest on that. We were talking about the commute into work today. Chilly, rainy, still looks pretty with our tree up and everything, but it's a mess.
In fact, those lights glisten in the rain. But
that's true.
We are going to see drier weather come in our direction. You like how we put a positive spin on
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, that's called upselling. All right, outside right now, hard to upsell this. We got plenty of traffic on the Staten Island Expressway right now and a relatively low cloud deck. It's dreary out there. We're at 48 degrees, winds out of the north-northeast now at about 9 miles per hour. Dew point is at 46, plenty of moisture. And actually some pretty moderate to heavy rains falling as we head to the north of the city. So head into sections of White Plains, into northern New Jersey, even pushing into Rockland County, and then further to the north into Putnam and up to Dutchess County and eastward into Danbury and pushing through into sections of Pennsylvania. You're going to run into some heavier rain. But the back end is here. It's all pushing to the northeast right now, and then we are going to dry out. Now, this is going to be an interesting week. We're not done with the rain. We'll talk about that, though, in just a minute. As we head through the rest of the evening, the clouds give way to, or the rain gives way to clouds. But keep in mind, the roads are still going to be wet, and it's going to be a little bit dreary out there. Temperature doesn't move much at all until we wind up on our way through into tomorrow afternoon when we'll see those numbers go up. So late day showers tomorrow into the 50s will go, low 50s at that, down by about 10 to the north and west and to the north and east. So you head up that direction, it's going to be cooler. But watch what happens as we head through tomorrow afternoon. Still maybe a possibility of some scattered showers as we head into Tuesday evening. Then Wednesday, we have a strong cold front coming through. Strong means two things. Number one, heavy rains, and number two, gusty winds. It's going to be a miserable day as we head into Wednesday. First, we're going to get near 60 degrees before that front rolls through, and then as it does, there are those heavy downpours during the afternoon and the evening, and then behind it, much colder air begins to move on through. Thursday, we wake up with 30s and 40s, and we are going to see some scattered flurries and snow showers through parts of the region. So total rain accumulation, a solid 1 to 2. We need it. And as we look to the north and east, pockets of 3 to 4 into sections of Connecticut and Massachusetts, out to Suffolk County, 2 to 3 inches. High temperature forecast, look at that. It's going to be spring-like, 60 degrees before those numbers plummet. Thursday, 37, Friday, 36, and then a cool weekend as we head into Saturday. Next several days, once that front passes, that trough moves through, that's when that cool air is going to come and take over. As we head into the end of the weekend, we'll see another chance of some rain. All good news. As long as it's not flooding rain, we'll take it. So let's net it out. Tonight down to 45 degrees, southwest winds to about 10. Near steady temperatures tomorrow to 51 or so. We're at about 48 right now, but we are going to stay mostly cloudy tomorrow. And tomorrow night, 34 degrees. Let's play the chimes and look at the 10-day forecast. Remember that cool drop as we head into the end of the week. Another chance of rain as we head into Sunday. And then into next week, we'll look at showers potentially, but that's a ways away. Temperatures back into the upper 40s and 50s. Right now, we've got a strong storm expected for Wednesday. We'll focus on that more through the day. In the meantime, back to you.
Dave, thank you. And as we've been saying, it's been a busy news day. Yeah. That goes for sports news, too. The blockbuster deal in Major League Baseball that has the sports world buzzing tonight. Juan Soto trading in the pinstripes for a spot on the New York Mets roster.
A lot of visceral reaction on social media, depending upon which side you're on. The Amazons inking Soto with a historic contract worth a whopping $765 million. News 4's Bruce Beck was here last night to break all the details. He's back in the newsroom now with an update. Bruce.
David, Steve Cohen got his man. Juan Soto is a New York Met. The richest owner in baseball opened his checkbook and gave Mets fans the player, the hope, the dreams for everyone. They've been waiting for this for years. And in a cruel twist, he may have shifted the balance of power in New York baseball.
We're going to be available for all 30 teams.
As the saying goes, money talks. What was evident after the Yankees World Series exit became reality last night. Soto was going to follow the money, all of it, $765 million worth. And while the deal isn't yet official, I'd say Soto's reaction posted to his brother's Instagram account tells you the 26-year-old superstar is signed, sealed, and delivered. Soto parlayed one sublime season in the Bronx into a record-breaking payday. 15 years, $765 million, the richest contract in sports history. Steve Cohen delivering on the pledge he made when he bought the team and reiterated to me just 2 weeks ago.
Listen, we'll see what happens, right? We built a great team last year, and I fully expect to do the same this year.
So where does this leave the Yankees? Hal Steinbrenner and company put forth a representative offer, $760 million. But in the end, it wasn't enough. The Bombers can now pivot and use the cash earmarked for Soto to improve a flawed roster. But for now, Soto and the Mets are the center of the baseball universe.
You know what? I don't know what he's going to do when he's 40, but I know what he's going to do come opening day. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the Mets got a really good player and a great person, so I'm really happy for him.
The Mets have not won a World Series since 1986. Heck, they've made the playoffs only 11 times in 63 years. They are known for Bobby Bonilla's ridiculous annual contract and have been the butt of jokes all too often. Now, David and Natalie, it's the Mets who have the last laugh.
Yeah, let's see what the season brings, Bruce. Okay, thank you. On the run, Syria's dictator fleeing to Russia after a regime change in the Middle East, how the U.S. is responding to the sudden collapse.
Angel Shot, the new app on Long Island aimed at protecting customers when they're in bars and clubs. Why the creators say this will enhance nightlife safety.
Plus, on display where you can see the oldest known copy of the 10 Commandments.
You're watching News 4 New York at 4 with David Ushery, Natalie Pascarella, and the most accurate forecast with Dave Price. This is News 4 New York at 4.
President Biden calling the fall of the Assad regime in Syria as an historic opportunity. Rebels captured the capital of Damascus over the weekend. That brings a decade-long civil war to an end. Now, Russian officials have confirmed that President Bashar al-Assad has resigned and fled to Russia, where he's been granted asylum by Vladimir Putin. President Biden pledged U.S. support to help bring stability to that country.
New video tonight. A holiday parade in Southern California did take a frightening turn when an officer crashed his motorcycle into the crowd. This happened Saturday night in Palm Springs. The video shows a terrifying moment. An officer appears to have accelerated toward attendees. Officials there say 10 people were hurt, including the officer and a 2-year-old child, but it is not clear at this time what led up to this crash.
The oldest inscribed stone tablet listing the 10 Commandments will go to auction next week at Sotheby's. That tablet, approximately 1,500 years old, weighs more than 100 pounds. Sotheby's says it was unearthed in 1913 in Israel, but it wasn't until decades later that experts recognized its significance.
We think that there is excitement from people around the world, and it's a fascinating witness to civilization's interest in moral codes and humanity.
That tablet will go for auction next Wednesday, December 18th, expected to sell for between $1 and $2 million.
Inflation refund, the new proposal from Governor Hochul that could put hundreds of dollars in your wallet. Plus,
there's a new push to get violators a refund after an upper court has declared fees associated with red light cameras to be illegal.
Storm Team 4 is certified as the most accurate in the tri-state by Weather Rate, an independent service that tracks forecasts.
4:29 right now. We take a look at Storm Tracker 4's live red sweep, giving us a real-time indication of where the back end of this is and what's going on up to the north. Let's zoom on in just a little bit. Thank you. And we take a look at Westchester County, and we'll work our way up 684. And you can see pockets of moderate to heavy rain as soon as you get just north of Yonkers. So if you're up in that direction, traveling 287 as well, you're going to run into some heavier rains. That rain taking you, by the way, all the way up as you head to Ramapo and then head up on the thruway. So keep in mind, not a lot more time of rain, but where we have it, it's a pretty good dose falling, especially to the north of the city. From rain to ice, we take a look at Rockefeller Plaza right now, and this scene, which we'll be staring at right through Christmas and beyond, a beautiful picture under wet skies, 48 degrees currently, winds out of the north-northeast at about 9, dew points at 46. So tomorrow is drier. It's going to be warm on Wednesday. Yeah, warm, 60 degrees and wet with moderate to heavy rain falling and winds gusting as well. And then the temperatures just plummet into the 30s for Thursday and Friday. That's what we have to expect. Short term, we're going to see this rain begin to work its way out of our area. We'll be left with cloudy skies tonight, and that's what you can expect. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little while, and we'll take you through the next 10 days and look ahead to the weekend. Why not, right? Back to you.
Why not, Dave? All right, thank you. Drivers, take note. If you've received a red light camera ticket on Long Island, you may be entitled to some money.
Because today, legislators unveiled a bill proposing a refund for those drivers who were victim to excessive fees. It all comes after an appeals court ruled that the charges were illegal. Let's get out to News 4's Paisley Chang live in Carl Place, Long Island with the details. Paisley.
Natalie, before this ruling, if you got a red light camera ticket, it would cost you $150. $50 for the ticket, but $100 in fees. And now there's a push to get drivers that fee money refunded. Seeing the flash of the camera at a red light is never good, and Kelly Johnson learned also expensive.
It's a $50 ticket and it's $100 administrative fees. I did not know that. Now I'm pissed and feel like I was robbed.
But a recent court ruling determined those fees to be illegal. And today, Johnson stood with county lawmakers who proposed a law that would refund those fees to drivers.
I'm calling on my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to support this legislation and bring it to a vote so that people who were charged these illegal fees can be refunded quickly and appropriately.
When asked about possible refunds, a spokesman for Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman said, quote, "It is our position that what happened in the past is the past."
It should be fair for everybody, even, if it was in the past.
But many who have shelled out hundreds of dollars in fees feel it's the right thing to do.
I'm looking forward to my refund check.
Lawmakers estimate drivers have paid $300 to $400 million in fines over the past decade.
Are they going to refund all the money that they've already collected?
Do you think they should refund it?
Well, logically and fairly, I think they should, but it would put a hit on the budget of Nassau County.
Now, today, outside that traffic violation bureau, people told us they went to pay their tickets, and they were told, even though they were billed $150, people there said they could no longer charge them for those fines, so they only had to pay $50. If this law is passed, that would also prevent these extra fines from being charged ever again. We're live from Carl Place tonight. Paisley Chang, News 4 New York.
Paisley, thank you. Well, it has been a somber day in Newark after a fiery crash left 6 people dead, including 2 beloved high school coaches. There
was a lot of reaction to this over the weekend. Family members and friends mourning their loss as police provide new information into what may have caused the deadly collision on the Pulaski Skyway. News 4's Charles Watson's covering this today. He is live in Newark with more. Charles?
Yeah, David and Natalie, this is certainly a loss that has cut deep for dozens of people who knew the 6 victims involved in that deadly fiery crash near the Pulaski Skyway here in Newark last Friday. We know at least 2 of the victims were beloved football coaches at Hudson Catholic High School, which canceled school today for students. Meantime, we're learning more about another victim. The family of 22-year-old Darnell Carr Jr. sent us these photos of the 22-year-old today. They say they believe he is among the 6 who were killed in that horrific crash that saw the vehicle veer off the road, hit a Pulaski Skyway support beam before going airborne and bursting into flames. They tell us Carr was someone who came from a family of activists and advocates, as well as a beloved native of Jersey City who worked for the Board of Education. Now, at this point, none of the families of the victims actually know for sure if their loved ones died in that accident here in Newark late Friday night. The Essex County Prosecutor's Office telling us that it's been difficult for the medical examiner's office to make positive identifications because of how badly the victims were burnt in the crash. So for now, the office is relying on family members to help them.
We're looking for dental records, things that will be helpful in terms of being able to make positive identifications. We're still waiting for information from some of those families. We are not able to release the names of the victims until the report from the medical examiner is complete.
Meantime, family members in area schools have identified Hudson Catholic High School head football coach Lamar McKnight and former Rutgers player Brad Cunningham as 2 additional victims in the crash. On social media, tributes have applauded the 2 for their commitment to the youth. In fact, we spoke to a pizza store worker across the street from Hudson Catholic who says he saw their commitment to student athletes pretty consistently.
The kids and the coaches were beautiful. They were community people. They took good care of the kids, helped the kids out in every way.
Yeah, and so the Essex County Prosecutor's Office says that crash is one of the deadliest to happen in this county in 40 years. We're told speed may have played a part, but investigators won't know for sure until their investigation is complete. For now, we're live in Newark. Charles Watson, News 4 New York.
Charles, thank you. New at 4:30, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has signed a bill that will prevent banning books. It's called the Freedom to Read Act, and it's set to protect the rights of students, parents, and communities to have free access to age-appropriate books and learning materials at schools and public libraries. The bill also protects library media specialists and librarians from harassment.
Governor Hochul wants to send you money as her first proposal of the 2025 State of the State. The governor proposing sending New Yorkers an inflation refund check. It would deliver $3 billion to 8.6 million people in the state. They'd get the money from using the excess sales tax revenue caused by inflation.
I believe that this extra inflation-driven sales tax revenue should be spent by the state. It's your money, and it should be back in your pockets.
The payment would amount to $500 to families making less than $300,000 a year and $300 for individuals making less than $150,000.
Nadine Menendez, the wife of former Senator Bob Menendez, will go to trial on bribery charges next month. She was back at a lower Manhattan courtroom this morning for a pretrial conference and a request to postpone her trial further. Well, the judge denied that request. Menendez was originally set to go on trial in July, but that was postponed because she was undergoing treatment for breast cancer. Now, during that trial, 3 co-defendants, including Bob Menendez, were found guilty on all charges. They are scheduled to be sentenced on January 29th. Nadine has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Happening today in New Jersey, Senator-elect Andy Kim sworn into the 118th Congress. He'll become the first Korean American in the Senate. The early appointment comes after interim Senator George Helmy resigned from office yesterday. He filled the vacant seat after Bob Menendez's federal corruption conviction. Governor Murphy asked Kim to step into the role sooner, saying it will help Kim make a smooth transition. And next month, he will start a full 6-year term in the U.S. Senate.
Next up, nightlife safety, the new app. The goal is to keep people safe inside bars and clubs on Long Island.
Plus, blockbuster trade. The Mets get a steal in the offseason, and they didn't have to go far. How fans are reacting to Juan Soto's record-breaking contract.
On Long Island, bars and clubs are adding this new tool that's designed to make nightlife safer.
It's called Angel Shot, and creators say customers can use the app to ask for help or alert employees about a potentially dangerous situation. News 4's Greg Sergel explains how it works.
Even in his own Freeport bar, owner Stephen Brennan has seen customers, especially women, put in uncomfortable situations, or worse, being harassed.
It's inevitable in the bar industry that something's going to happen. It is. You know, there's always going to be someone out there that's going to try ruin your night.
Brennan's answer is this new safety app called Angel Shot.
Download the Angel Shot app today for free.
and experience a safer night out.
The app allows patrons to use their phones to send immediate messages asking for help to staff in the bar, club, or restaurant.
I'm going to say that I feel uncomfortable. This guy is harassing me. He won't leave me alone. So I need some assistance.
Once I feel my phone vibrate or I see something on the iPad, I know then that something's going on.
At that point, Brennan says his staff can respond in whatever way the patron requests, including calling police.
If someone knows that they have a line of communication to either the bartender or security, that's going to make them feel a little bit more at ease.
Co-developer Jimmy LaSalle describes it as the app that everyone should have and never use.
Have you ever been in that situation when you feel like a guy is pressuring you to talk to him? It's like he won't take no for an answer.
Angel Shots creators are now turning to social media to convince both venues and customers to sign up and use the app. The Angel Shot app is free for both patrons and the owners of bars and restaurants. Right now, about 50 local establishments are signed up to use it.
It's like having your own guardian angel.
Using the app, LaSalle says, shouldn't expose bars and nightclubs to liability issues. The ultimate goal is really a lot more simple.
I want people to know that they can come here, feel safe, feel comfortable.
In Freeport, Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Still to come, the remarkable restoration, Notre Dame rising from the ashes after that devastating fire, and the special ceremony marking the historic cathedral's return.
And we're going to be talking about more precipitation coming in our direction. We've had a little bit of a drought, but we have some progress we're making. We'll tell you how much rain we're expecting and how much we have to go. That's all coming up in just a couple of minutes, along with your full forecast. Stay with us.
The nominees are out for the 82nd Annual Golden Globe Awards. The musical Emilia Perez leads the way with 10 nominations. The film about a Mexican drug lord who undergoes gender transition got the nod for its 3 stars, as well as a Best Picture nomination. It will go up against the powerhouse Wicked from our sister company, Universal Pictures. The musical adaptation got 4 nominations in all, and The Bear came out on top on the TV side, racking up 5 nominations. Winners will be announced January 5th.
Getting close to award season. Okay, let's check back in with Storm Team 4's Dave Price. What a kind of a dreary day out there.
Yeah, not award-winning weather, but you know, it's giving us what we need, and it's much needed moisture. So we are going to have another dose. If you thought this was kind of dreary, wait till you see Wednesday. Okay. We've got a real storm coming in our direction. Let's walk on over to the weather wall right now and use our live Storm Tracker 4, and that's the red sweep we all know and love, rotating around, showing us the back end of this storm, and this is moving through, giving us later on tonight just a cloudy evening. But for the time being, some moderate to heavy rain falling along 287 if you head to White Plains and Greenberg, up through 22 if you're rolling near Armonk and up to Bedford and beyond into sections right around Ridgefield. You're going to run into some more significant rain, heavier rain, but all of it beginning to move to the north and east right now, back end of it beginning to push through sections of New Jersey, and I think in the next several hours, we'll be looking at drier conditions. Roads are still going to be wet, by the way, so take it easy and take it slow tonight. The cloud deck is relatively low right now. As we look at 11 o'clock, when we're all going to be together again, we'll have 47 degrees on the thermometer. Tomorrow, we wake up. Pretty much the same thing. Clouds out there, mostly cloudy day. Could see a couple of scattered showers as we head into Tuesday evening. But the real story and the big story is going to be on Wednesday. And that is as this front passes. Now watch. Temperature climbs to close to 60, mid-60s out to the west. Cold front moves through. Now watch as it does. We get rain, we get wind, we get sloppy weather, and we are going to see temperatures after that on the back end of this storm really dropping. The floor is going to just come out from under us, and we're going to wind up by the time we get into Thursday morning with temperatures which are going to be mighty cool Thursday and Friday. So rain accumulation 1 to 2, maybe even more than that as we head out to the east end of Long Island. And as you can see, we have plenty of room to make up as far as our departures from norm. So far, we're an inch 0.09 below where we should be for the winter season, but look how dry the fall was. So we need the rain we're going to get. Drought monitor, we are still in a severe drought situation and extreme as we head to the south. So we'll take anything we can get as long as it's not flooding. Watch these numbers. 51 tomorrow, 60 on Wednesday, Thursday, 37 degrees. So a significant drop after that cold front passes. Very pretty picture. You can see the clearing right now beginning as we take a look outside. 49 currently, winds out of the north-northeast at about 9 miles per hour, dew points at 46. Tonight we get down to 45. We'll dry out, near steady temperatures. 7:09, the sun rises tomorrow morning. We'll get up to 51 degrees with winds coming onshore out of the east to about 10. Tomorrow night down to 34 degrees. Scattered showers on and off continue. The winds are going to pick up out of the southeast to about 15 miles per hour, gusts higher than that. And then as we head into Thursday, once the rain is gone, there'll be plenty of that. Look at those temperatures, 37 degrees as we head into Thursday, 36 on Friday, and then we'll begin to warm up somewhat into next week. That's a quick look at the numbers. 49 right now at 450. Back to you.
All right, there it stands, Dave. Thank you. What a road tour for Taylor Swift and her fans. The global pop star did the last show for her record-breaking Eras tour last night in Vancouver. We thought we'd play our theme music just to go over that because Taylor's, licensing and all that. But anyway, it comes after nearly 2 years and almost 150 sold-out performances. The 3-hour show boasted a massive 44-song set list of her greatest hits, spanning Swift's now 18-year-long career. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris officially opened to the public again 5 years after that devastating fire nearly destroyed it.
Yeah, the lines actually stretched around the block before sunrise to get a glimpse inside. Over the weekend, French President Emmanuel Macron addressed the public during this special ceremony, which was well attended by First Lady Jill Biden, President-elect Donald Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Prince William. During his remarks, President Macron expressed gratitude for the French nation and also towards the people who helped to save and rebuild that beloved cathedral.
The gates are closed, but the Mets' future is wide open. I'm Andrew Siff with reaction to the biggest free agent signing in baseball history.
And I'm Adam Cooperstein. Coming up on News 4 at 5, we are learning a lot more about the suspect connected to the murder of the CEO of United Healthcare. We'll bring you those details, plus the push by New York City's council to provide better wages and working conditions for delivery workers. That and much more when I see you right here at 5 with Gil Mavalos.
A lot of us buzzing over this one of the most expensive contracts in sports history.
Yeah, some colorful language used, depending upon who you are. Juan Soto going to the New York Mets, the news drawing a divide among fans, especially after his dynamic performance in the World Series. Here's News 4's Andrew Siff.
Dreary and drizzly outside Citi Field, but a peek inside the minds of Mets faithful. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. A dream come true for the long-suffering fans from Queens.
We got him! We got him!
As the hottest free agent in sports, Juan Soto, who led the Yankees to the World Series last year, decided to accept the highest bid.
15 years, $765. It's over.
From across town.
Changes the dynamics of baseball in New York City.
The Soto free agency even made its way 24 hours earlier into the opening of Saturday Night Live.
Why not spend your time helping and money helping the needy and the less fortunate?
You're right. Maybe I sign with the Mets.
Meanwhile, social media for diehards of the Yankees
Juan Soto
had about 765 million swear words.
Juan Soto, I got 2 words for you. That's right. What you wrote in on.
One fan literally set fire to his Soto jersey. While up in the Bronx, more of a fire sale. Now, you can still find a Juan Soto jersey here in Yankee Land across from the stadium in the Bronx. There it is, number 22, but take a look at the price tag. It's marked down from $110 to $55.
It's a lot of money.
So you can't blame him.
Sal Abadi at this Yankees merchandise shop says uniform numbers change, but the rivalry remains constant.
I don't blame him. We all expected him to be here, to be honest.
Soto, like so many of the baseballs he hits, is gone, but not from New York. Let's just say next year's Subway Series might be, well...
Oh, those stupid Mets!
Forget about it.
Knocking those home runs over the wall.
Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Listen, we love our teams.
Turturro was next level, though. Wow.
That was
Okay.
something. Does it for us.
News 4 at 5 starts now.
I had enough of this. The system is rigged.
Now at 5, a range of emotions outside the courthouse after Marine veteran Daniel Penny is acquitted in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely.
But we begin with new details on the suspect in the murder of the United Healthcare CEO in Midtown Manhattan.
Thank you so much for joining us here at 5. I'm Gilma Avalos.
I'm Adam Cooperstein. Brian Thompson was gunned down in Midtown last Wednesday morning, and now 5 days later, a huge breakthrough. Police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, alerted to a man named Luigi Mangione, who investigators believe could be the man shown in surveillance video and photos linked to the crime.
And we have live team coverage of the investigation. We begin with News 4's Mark Santia live in Altoona, where Mangione is being questioned. Mark.
You should ask nicely. Don't be disrespectful. Gilma and Adam, the person of interest is being held here at the Altoona police station, and so is a mountain of evidence, including a handwritten note and a handgun.
NYPD detectives arriving in Altoona late this afternoon to question 26-year-old Luigi Mangione about the murder of United Healthcare's chief executive officer.
He is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan.
Mangione taken into custody this morning at this McDonald's 300 miles away from the city. An employee called police, recognizing Mangione from photos released by the NYPD following Wednesday's attack. Police found a gun and silencer on him. They say it's consistent with the murder weapon. They also found a fake New Jersey ID.
Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident.
Police also recovered a mask and clothes consistent with what the shooter was wearing, and a 3-page handwritten note that speaks to a possible motive.
Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Back in New York, NYPD divers were in the water again in Central Park today looking for evidence related to the attack. Mayor Adams, joined by NYPD Commissioner Tisch and Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney, reacting to the arrest in Pennsylvania.
It was crucial that we were able to remove him off the streets of America, and we were going to seek him out no matter where he was at the time.
Back here live outside the Altoona police station, you can see dozens of people, media and residents, gathering here outside the station just to catch a glimpse. We've seen folks taking pictures outside next to NYPD cars, people gathering here hoping to, again, catch a glimpse and see what's happening. This is the focus right now. Again, the person of interest inside, as well as that evidence. At this point, Mangione is not charged with the Midtown murder. He's currently being held here on gun charges. We're live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Mark, thank you. And now to learn more about the man police are questioning, Luigi Mangione.
News 4's chief investigative reporter Jonathan Dietz joins us live. So, Jonathan, what have you uncovered?
Adam, Gilma, we're awaiting word on when Luigi Mangione might appear in a Pennsylvania courtroom on the gun charge there, as the NYPD looks to see if he is the man wanted for the CEO murder here. Mangione appears to have a master's degree in engineering, and investigators are looking at angry writings posted online about healthcare firms and writings about past acts of violence, and they want to know if these postings are linked to the man in custody. Investigators say the strong person of interest is Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, and he was allegedly carrying this ghost gun at the McDonald's along with a suppressor. They say it is similar to the kind of weapon used in the shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, but they say ballistics and other work still needs to be done. They also say Mangione was found carrying this fake New Jersey ID with the name Mark Rosario. Several officials say that is the same name and same ID used by the suspected killer who checked into this Upper West Side hostel in the days before the shooting. Investigators providing more detail about Mangione's background earlier.
He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York.
Pennsylvania authorities are holding Mangione on a gun charge for now, as NYPD investigators go to Altoona to question him. Officials say he was carrying a 3-page letter complaining about companies at the time of his arrest at that McDonald's.
Officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset.
Investigators say they are also looking into social media postings, including this image of an X-ray of a past back surgery, and that it's unclear if the image is connected to Mangione or someone he might know. They say they're also looking at other past, quote, revolutionary-type writings posted to social media to see if Mangione is behind those writings. One makes reference to the past Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. A person with the same name appears to have been a high school valedictorian, and a spokesman at the University of Pennsylvania says Mangione graduated from there with a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering. Investigators tell us they're looking to see if Mangione arrived at the McDonald's in Altoona via bus from Philadelphia. The NYPD said last week that they believe the suspected gunman left New York from the George Washington Bridge bus terminal via bus. The NYPD and FBI has been following hundreds of tips and leads of possible names from New York to Atlanta to Pennsylvania. But this tip from workers and customers at that McDonald's appears to be the big break.
He's going to be facing gun charges there, and at some point we'll work out through extradition to bring him back to New York to face charges here.
Again, investigators stress it is still early on, and they're looking into those social media postings, including complaints about a past back surgery, to see if there's any connection. No word if Mangione is making any statements to NYPD detectives at that Altoona police station at this hour. Adam.
Okay, Jonathan Dienst in the newsroom. Thank you, John. Our team coverage continues now with Terry Monahan, former NYPD Chief of Department.
Terry, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about this person of interest background. Obviously high achieving, valedictorian of a prep school in Baltimore, went to an Ivy League. So how do you go from that track of high achiever to possible suspect in this high profile murder?
Someone, you can see the way he planned it, very meticulous, step by step what he did. He did leave quite a few clues that most criminals always do. But he has a message. Whatever the message may be, I'm sure we will find out in short order. But this is someone who thought it out, and today comes along, and he's still sitting there with the ID, with the gun, with his ramblings, his 3-page manifesto. He had some sort of message he wants to send out. 5 days of chasing him, and now he's caught. And now we can sit back and see what his message is going to be, whatever ridiculous thoughts that he may have for doing what he did.
Terry, police said today he wasn't identified actually until today. We've seen these clear pictures of his face, though, for days. That seems to indicate his family, people close to him, knew and did not turn him into authorities. Would they face any consequences?
No. You look at that picture, and there's been leads, hundreds of leads the NYPD has had, other individuals that look close. Quite a few people are saying, hey, it could be, may not be. What sent this over the top is this was someone that someone thought, hey, it looks like him. And when they stop him, he has all this evidence still sitting with him at that point in time. So you can't say that family should have known, you know, based on a quick look at him. I don't know how close he are. This individual's moved from Baltimore out to San Francisco to Hawaii, so he's covered around the country. I don't know who he's close to. And that's what part of the investigation is going to be, talking to family members, talking to friends, seeing the people that he may be close to in life.
So he's sitting in Altoona, Pennsylvania right now. He's facing firearms charges. What's next in this case?
So now the detectives are going to go out there. They're going to try and speak to him, see if he wants to talk, give his reasonings behind what he did. The gun is going to go back down to the lab in New York to test ballistically to see if the shell casings found on the scene are the same shell casings from that gun. His DNA will be tested against the water bottle that was recovered on the scene and some other forensic evidence that was recovered, tying it all together to get indicted by Manhattan and then brought back to the city and extradited.
A lot more to learn about this person of interest apprehended in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Terry Monahan, we appreciate the perspective. Thank you so much. And we're going to continue to follow the latest on this story as it unfolds as police investigate the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the streets of Midtown with the NYPD now in Pennsylvania. We'll bring you every angle of it on NBCNewYork.com and the News 4 app.
Now to the verdict in the trial against Daniel Penny. Penny, a Marine veteran, was acquitted of criminally negligent homicide in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely on a subway train last year. News 4's Rana Novini is at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan and was there when the jury made its decision today. Rana?
Yeah, and Gilma, Daniel Penny walked out of the courthouse this morning a free man. When the verdict was announced this morning, there were immediate outbursts in the courtroom. Some people celebrating, cheering, others yelling and crying.
What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now?
Jordan Neely's father speaking outside Manhattan Criminal Court minutes after Daniel Penny was cleared of any wrongdoing in Neely's death.
I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts.
The verdict capping off a lengthy, high-profile trial centered around Penny's actions after he placed Neely in a chokehold on the subway last May. While prosecutors argued he went too far and caused Neely's death, the defense painted Penny, a former Marine, as a hero, jumping in to restrain Neely after he threatened people on the train. Jurors last week deadlocked on the top charge of manslaughter. The judge agreed Friday to dismiss the count and asked jurors to begin deliberating today on a lesser charge, criminally negligent homicide. An hour and a half into those deliberations, they reached a not guilty verdict.
There should be some type of penalty that should have been handed down to Daniel Penny. Period. They gave him no penalty, and I feel like the jury gave up on us.
To me, this is just so clear-cut. There is no complexity to this case. Daniel Penny is an American hero and should be let free immediately.
A small group of Daniel Penny's supporters celebrating the jury's decision today.
This is not about color of skin. There were black people on that subway train. There were white people on that subway train. And Daniel Penny was protecting all of them.
Meantime, protesters gathered in outrage.
How could he be possibly a hero when he held an innocent man who was just hungry, begging for food for 6 minutes? It's insane.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, whose office prosecuted the case, released a statement saying in part, the jury has now spoken. At the Manhattan DA's office, we deeply respect the jury process and we respect their verdict. We have not heard from Daniel Penny himself or his defense attorneys after the verdict. And now that the criminal case is over, there is still a civil case pending, a wrongful death suit filed by Neely's father against Daniel Penny. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, Rana Novini, News 4 New York.
Rana, thank you. Mayor Adams now expanding a pilot program that's aiming at preventing crime across the city. It's called Every Block Counts, and it targets certain blocks in neighborhoods with a history of major crime.
And this program launched back in October in communities within the 46th precinct in the Bronx and the 73rd in Brooklyn. And the mayor says various city agencies help to improve quality of life for those areas by increasing patrol, street lighting, repainting signage, and keeping public spaces clean.
No two blocks are the same. No two precincts are the same. Since the beginning of this program, the 46th and 73rd precincts have not had one shooting or a single shots fired incident on these 10 blocks.
And the mayor went on to say that the Every Block Counts team will visit the blocks every 2 weeks to see the progress in those neighborhoods.
Delivery workers across the city are now set to receive more protections. Today, the City Council reviewed legislation that would protect the wages and safety of all contracted delivery workers. Back in 2021, the council passed legislation that they said would provide better wages and working conditions for third-party delivery workers. The proposed legislation would also require third-party grocery delivery services to pay their workers a minimum pay rate.
Still ahead tonight, shocking allegations from a civil lawsuit accusing hip-hop mogul Jay-Z of raping a young girl. How Jay-Z is responding.
But first, a record-breaking deal. Juan Soto leaving the Yankees to become a very highly paid member of the team across the way, the Mets.
And in the weather picture, a swing and a miss on today's forecast. Unfortunately, it's a wet one, but we're going to dry on out with more rain in our future. We'll tell you what to expect as we head through the next 10 days and we push this moisture out of the way. Stay with us.
You're watching News 4 New York at 5 with Adam Cooperstein, Gilma Avalos, and the most accurate forecast with meteorologist Janice Huff. This is News 4 New York at 5.
Now to the record-breaking contract for Major League Baseball player Juan Soto.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of motion out of people in New York. $765 million. That's why Soto is now going from the Yankees over to the Mets. And News 4 sports anchor Bruce Beck is here with the story, and the reaction's been incredible.
Stunning, shocking, unbelievable. Hard to say. The Mets are on top of the world. Steve Cohen is the new king of baseball. Juan Soto owns the richest contract in all of sports. The baseball world is standing on its head. That's what a $765 million deal for one man in one city will do for you.
Listen, we'll see what happens, right? We built a great team last year, and I fully expect to do the same this year.
That was Steve Cohen 2 weeks ago. That was Juan Soto last night in a celebratory video posted to his brother's Instagram account. It was certainly a different tune than when Soto last spoke following the Yankees' World Series demise.
We're going to be available for all 30 teams. Definitely, we're going to consider the Yankees as one of the teams, I'm going to try to be with, and we're going from there.
Yes, it was clear that October night Soto was going to the highest bidder. And in the days and weeks that followed, it was equally as clear Steve Cohen would not be outbid. 15 years, $765 million, with the possibility when all is said and done that the total will be a cool $805 million. Not bad work if you can get it. Yes, there is still work to be done, but for now, the city might just be a Mets town.
It's good for baseball. That's the way I see it, man. I think everybody was waiting for this to happen, and obviously, it was interesting the way everybody reacted.
You look at all those teams in our division; they just continue to keep getting better, as we do. I mean, we're all working to get better, and it's a very strong division, which I don't have any doubt that it's going to be again.
The Yankees still have plenty of time to build a roster, and they still could put together a championship team. But for now, the Mets own the town. It's been a long time coming. The champagne has been popped, but will the champagne be on ice in October? Adam and Gilma, the Mets and their fans hope so.
A long way to go
it's
before
a
we get
start.
there. But this is huge news. There's no doubt.
It's unbelievable stuff,
Thank you. Yes, Bruce. Absolutely.
Exciting.
All right, let's get a check of the weather here. Gloomy today, and the rain continues tomorrow, Dave.
Yeah, well, the important thing to understand is we're going to get rid of one batch of rain, and then tomorrow night we see it move in again, and Wednesday's the real trouble for us. Live radar picture right now as we look, all of it beginning to move to the east, so into sections of Queens, Long Island, and pushing to the northeast right now. So Westbury, as we take a look at Levittown down to Wantagh, and up towards the North Shore as we look over and into areas including Bayville, you're going to get some heavier rain, and then into Westchester County and moving into Connecticut. You're seeing it all in real time with Storm Tracker 4's red sweep. So that's what's going on now. But the back end of it beginning to move to the east, and we are going to begin to dry out, still under cloudy skies. This is the wider picture right now, and you can see this is going to be the next troublemaker. That cold front right there, that's going to move in our direction. That's going to bring us some rainy weather as we head into Wednesday. And after that cold front moves through, look at Thursday and Friday's temperatures down in the 30s, a huge drop, and recovering to the 40s by the time we get into and through the weekend. Taking a look at the GWB right now, you can see plenty of traffic going to and fro. The camera lens is wet, the roads are wet, but the rain is beginning to subside. 49 degrees currently, winds out of the northeast at 12 miles per hour, dew points at 46. This is the wider picture picture right now, and you can see temperatures attached. A little bit cooler up to the north and west and into Poughkeepsie as well. As we take a look at the rest of the evening, clouds still hanging around, temperature dropping to the north and west somewhat, but not a lot, and we stay relatively stable in and around the city within 1 or 2 degrees. As we head into tomorrow, it stays relatively stable again, and then as we head into the evening, more showers giving way to kind of a more consistent wet day on Wednesday with the heaviest stuff as we head into the afternoon and evening. There are those numbers, and you can see it's going to feel like a spring storm to many of us. But behind it, watch those temperatures begin to really drop. Thursday morning, 36 degrees, 20s to the north and west, some flurries and snow showers around. Thursday is going to be a brutal change when you think about the fact that some of us are going to be in the mid-60s on Wednesday. 1 to 2 inches of rain, but as we head to the east through coastal Connecticut and into sections of Suffolk County, we could see 2 to 3. Colder air behind this, that takes us through the end of the week. Saturday, we're going to rebound somewhat by about 5 degrees or so. And then into the end of the week, end of the weekend, I should say, heading into Monday, another chance for some shower activity. No complaints because we need this. Saturday, 42 degrees. Sunday, mostly dry, but then we see some showers move through, 45. And as we look short term, 45 degrees tonight. Southwest winds should be on the light side, mostly cloudy skies. 7:09, the sun rises tomorrow. There is a look at your 10-day forecast. As we take a check of things into next week, we're back into the mid-40s, climbing into the 50s with a couple of shots of rain in the forecast. That's a quick look at the weather picture. Right now, 49 degrees at 5:21.
Thank you, Dave. And still ahead right here at 5, where you can see the oldest known copy of the 10 Commandments.
Plus, grabbing gold, Amber Glenn becomes the first American to win figure skating's most exclusive event.
American figure skater Amber Glenn made history over the weekend.
She became the first U.S. athlete in more than a decade to win one of the most elite competitions. Glenn took gold Saturday at the Grand Prix final, winning over 5 other of the world's top-ranked figure skaters. The prestigious event comes only behind the Olympics and World Championships and hasn't seen an American at the top of the medal stand since 2010.
I'm exhausted. It has been a whirlwind of a season, and I kind of struggled with some imposter syndrome. I'm just happy my hard work is finally showing.
And Americans won 3 of the 4 Grand Prix final titles for the first time. The oldest inscribed stone tablet listing the 10 Commandments will go to auction next week at Sotheby's.
It's a tablet that's approximately 1,500 years old. It weighs more than 150 pounds. Sotheby's says it was unearthed in 1913 on the southern coast of what's now Israel. But it wasn't until decades later that experts recognized its significance.
We think that there is excitement from people around the world, and it's a fascinating witness to civilization's interest in moral codes and humanity.
The tablet goes up for auction next Wednesday. It's expected to sell for between $1 and $2 million.
Some cheers for outgoing President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris at last night's 47th Kennedy Center honors. This year's honorees include Francis Ford Coppola, Bonnie Raitt, Arturo Sandoval, and the Grateful Dead. Harlem's famed Apollo Theater was also honored with the top U.S. Award of Achievement in the Arts.
And coming up right here, another shocking accusation against a superstar rapper and businessman.
Jay-Z accused of raping a 13-year-old alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The rapper's response to the new civil suit. Plus this.
I'm Jen Maxfield in Morris County, where we are following the drone story. Coming up, you'll hear from one mayor, part of a group who is demanding answers.
Now at 5:30, bombshell allegations against billionaire rapper Jay-Z. A new civil lawsuit accuses him of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs.
This anonymous accuser says that it happened in 2000 at a house party after the MTV Video Music Awards, an allegation that Jay-Z is vehemently denying. News 4's Gus Rosendale in the newsroom now with more on these allegations and now the response from Jay-Z. Gus?
That's right, Adam and Gilma. This is all part of a civil lawsuit originally brought against Sean Diddy Combs. But on Sunday, it was refiled to include Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. The anonymous accuser, as you say, claims both men sexually assaulted her when she was 13 years old at a house party following an award show. Both men deny all the allegations.
The unnamed plaintiff says she was taken to an after-party that took place after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards hosted by Sean Diddy Combs. The woman, who was 13 years old at the time, says in the suit a waitress gave her a drink and that eventually made her feel, quote, woozy. After that, according to the lawsuit, she claims she was raped by both Combs and Sean Carter while the two men took turns watching. The lawsuit also alleges that an unnamed female celebrity also watched. The plaintiff says after it was over, she took her clothes, left the party, and called her father from a gas station. Combs and Carter deny all the allegations. Carter, in a lengthy statement, called a pre-litigation demand letter he received a blackmail attempt. He accuses Tony Busby, a personal injury attorney representing the plaintiff, of engaging in unprofessional behavior, saying in part, quote, "I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games." He added, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one." He went on to call the claims idiotic. Busby is out with his own statement on social media talking about that demand letter. Busby wrote on X, quote, that the victim never demanded a penny. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation, and that they will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court.
Now, Tony Busby has filed several lawsuits in recent months against Sean Combs, accusing him of rape and assault. Combs has denied all the allegations as well. But this is the first lawsuit that names another high-profile celebrity. The attorney says his client is seeking unspecified damages. Live in the newsroom, I'm Gus Rosendale, News 4 New York.
Gus, thank you. Well, perhaps not since Orson Welles made his famous War of the Worlds radio broadcast in 1938 have so many New Jersey residents been so concerned about what's flying in the skies above them. The near constant drone sightings in places like Morris County have elected leaders now demanding answers from the feds. News 4's Jen Maxfield has the latest on this controversy.
Reports of drone sightings here in Morris County continue to pour in, and now a bipartisan coalition of mayors is demanding answers. You're seeing drones every night.
Every single night.
Lisa Poulou started noticing them around Thanksgiving.
Okay. Let's count the drones.
And last night she counted almost a dozen drones flying over her home in Mine Hill.
Last night there was probably like 10. Went right over my house. I got pictures and I was like, yes, I almost fell out my window trying to get the video, but I got it.
Mine Hill Mayor Sam Morris got his own video last week right behind the municipal building.
December 4th.
He thinks Lisa and his other constituents deserve answers from the state and federal government about the drones flying over their community.
This has people freaked out, and they need to start allaying those fears with some knowledge and information.
Morris and more than a dozen other mayors wrote to Governor Murphy. Morris County mayors demand answers or action regarding what we consider the illegal drone activity taking place over our towns. We look at it this way. Either high-level officials know what's going on and are not concerned, or they are negligent for not apprehending and identifying one of these drones.
I spoke to the governor personally that they don't know. That not to worry, but that they don't know. That doesn't quite jive.
Do you believe that?
I do. I'm not going to. I believe I take the governor at his word, but I also know he's in a tricky position.
We checked in with Governor Murphy's office today to try to get some of those questions answered, and the response we got from his spokesman was short and to the point. Nothing new to add, he said. In Mine Hill, New Jersey, I'm Jen Maxfield, News 4 New York.
The mystery continues. TikTok asking for a temporary block to the law that will ban the app in the U.S. starting next month. The social media company asked the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit to issue an injunction that would temporarily block the law if it is not sold before January 19th. The legal filing was made after a panel of 3 judges on the same court sided with the government last week, ruling that TikTok's China-based parent company ByteDance has to divest its stakes in the social media company or face a ban. That was constitutional. Company officials say TikTok has more than 170 million American users who would be affected by the shutdown.
All right, taking a look at the weather. Today begins a stretch of some gray weather that's going to deliver at least some much-needed rain.
Storm Team 4's Dave Price is here to time out when we're going to need those umbrellas. Dave?
All right, let's take a look at our first gander at the forecast. And as we head into tonight, still dealing with a little bit of moisture. It's going to take you a little while longer out to the island in coastal Connecticut to get rid of that rain. But that'll happen this evening. Clouds are going to stay with us tomorrow, mostly cloudy, but mostly dry. Then as we head through the afternoon and evening, things begin to pick up again. Wednesday, as they say in the movies, is going to be a doozy. We're going to see plenty of rain. We're going to see some gusty winds and warm temperatures, too, into the 60s, even into the mid-60s to the west of the city. As we look at the live radar right now, you can see the back end of this beginning to work its way across the Hudson now and find its way to the east. So a little while longer out in Nassau and Suffolk County and in through Fairfield County and New Haven County and up to the north and east. Clouds out there right now, but the light from the Empire State Building pierces that. As we take a look at where we are, we're at 49 degrees currently. Winds are out of the northeast at 12, dew points at 46. Temperature's not going to move all that much, so drier through Tuesday now. 60s and rainy for Wednesday and gusty too, and then sharply colder for Thursday. We'll talk about it all when we see you for our full forecast minutes from now.
Dave, thank you. There's a boil water advisory in effect for part of Fairfield County. The city of Danbury says all city water customers are impacted. The move was necessary after a 16-inch water main break on Haystown Avenue, and the boil water advisory isn't expected to be lifted until tomorrow at the earliest.
Andy Kim is set to be sworn into the U.S. Senate representing New Jersey, where he will become the first Korean American in the Senate. The early appointment comes after interim Senator George Helmy resigned from office yesterday. Helmy filled that vacant seat after Bob Menendez's federal corruption conviction. Governor Phil Murphy asked Kim to step into the role sooner, saying it's going to help Kim make a smooth transition. Then next month, Kim will start a full 6-year term in the U.S. Senate.
Coming up, say it ain't Soto, the reason Yankees fans are burning Juan Soto's jersey, how fans are reacting to Soto's record-breaking new contract with the Mets.
Also ahead, the new app aimed at protecting customers in bars and clubs that's being rolled out on Long Island. The reason its creators say this will enhance nightlife safety. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is now officially open to the public once again, 5 years after that devastating fire nearly destroyed it. Lines stretched around the block before sunrise this morning just to get a glimpse inside, after over the weekend, French President Emmanuel Macron addressed the public during a special ceremony there, attended by First Lady Joe Biden, President-elect Trump, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, and Prince William. During his remarks, Macron expressed gratitude for the French nation and toward the people who helped save and then rebuild the beloved cathedral.
New York's governor says she wants to send you money. As her first proposal of the 2025 State of the State, Governor Kathy Hochul is proposing sending New Yorkers an inflation refund check. It would deliver $3 billion to 8.6 million people in the state. The state would get the money from the excess sales tax revenue caused by higher prices.
I believe that this extra inflation-driven sales tax revenue shouldn't be spent by the state. It's your money, and it should be back in your pockets.
Now, the payment would amount to $500 for families making less than $300,000 a year and $300 for individuals making less than $150,000.
Workers at the famous bookstore The Strand are still on strike tonight. The unionized employees walked off the job Saturday morning as part of a labor strike demanding a fair contract and higher wages for that Manhattan bookshop. Now, workers say even though it's the store's busiest season, many of them are struggling to live in New York with what they make. This is the first strike at this iconic Manhattan store since the early 1990s.
Still ahead, some New York baseball fans, they're excited.
Others feel a traitor is in the midst.
The gates are closed, but the Mets' future is now wide open. I'm Andrew Siff with reaction to the biggest free agent signing in baseball history.
Can you guess the wealthiest counties in New York? Financial advisor guide Smart Asset ranked the wealthiest counties across the U.S. by comparing investment income, property value, and median income. And here they are. New York County, Manhattan, followed by Nassau, Westchester, Suffolk, and Putnam. But consider this. According to the same survey, no New York counties made the top 10 wealthiest counties in the country. The top went to Teton County, Wyoming.
Okay, well, former Yankee Juan Soto can afford to live, well, anywhere he wants after getting a blockbuster contract from the New York Mets. And it's not just the mega money that has New York baseball fans fired up today. It's the fact that he ditched the Bronx Bombers and took his talents to Queens. Here's News 4's Andrew Siff with the reaction coming in.
Dreary and drizzly outside Citi Field, but a peek inside the minds of Mets faithful. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. A dream come true for the long-suffering fans from Queens.
We got him! We got
As the hottest free agent in sports, Juan Soto, who led the Yankees to the World Series last year, decided to accept the highest bid.
15 years, $765. It's over.
From across town.
No, he should have stayed here.
You're a little disappointed?
I'm big disappointed.
The Soto free agency even made its way 24 hours earlier into the opening of Saturday Night Live.
Why not spend your time helping and money helping the needy and the less fortunate?
You're right. Maybe I sign with the Mets.
Meanwhile, social media for diehards of the Yankees
Juan Soto
had about 765 million swear words.
Juan Soto, I got 2 words for you. That's right. What you wrote in on.
One fan literally set fire to his Soto jersey. While up in the Bronx, more of a fire sale. Now, you can still find a Juan Soto jersey here in Yankee Land across from the stadium in the Bronx. There it is, number 22, but take a look at the price tag. It's marked down from $110 to $55.
I don't blame him. We all expected him to be here, to be honest.
Soto, like so many of the baseballs he hits, is gone. But not from New York. Let's just say next year's Subway Series might be, well...
Oh, those stupid Mets!
Forget about it.
Knocking those home runs over the wall.
Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Oh my, lots of choice words there.
This, it adds some juice to the rivalry.
It's New York. It's New York. This is the best. Now we'll see what happens next year.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for some better weather. It's just been dreary today, but it's going to be
well,
like
I hope you can wait because it's going to take a few days.
You better wait.
All right, we got clouds out there. You're right. It's kind of miserable, but we are beginning to dry on out. Let's take a look at the TKTS kiosk. We're going to Times Square right now. Wow, there's a lot going on behind me. I got a little bit of vertigo staring at you right now. EarthCam with the picture for us right now and all the ads popping up. No matter what the weather is, no matter what time of day, it's always bright there. 49 degrees currently. Winds out of the northeast just about 12 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the radar map. Finally, we're beginning to dry on out. Still some showers to the east of us, moving through Manor Haven into Oyster Bay, Smithtown, Islip. There we go, out to Fire Island. You're seeing some wet weather as well. And there's that famous red sweep, giving us a real-time indication of what's happening. We work out to New Shoreham and out to Montauk, Southampton. You're seeing the kind of back end of this as it begins to work its way to the north and east right now. Shelter Island, you're going to see some wet weather. And in through Connecticut, if you're driving 95 or you're on the Merritt Parkway, Route 15, or up through Route 7, you're going to run into this stuff. So that's a quick look at our radar picture. Temperatures aren't going to move much as we head through the rest of the evening, but we will dry out just a little bit. The next several days, here's what's interesting. Tomorrow, most of the day is dry. Then we see some rain showers as we head into the afternoon and evening. And then this cold front begins to move on through. Wednesday is going to be wet and windy and warm, the 3 W's, almost like springtime. Some areas are going to get close to the mid-60s. And then behind it, whoop, that's a cold front, that's a trough, opening the door to much cooler air coming in our direction. So let's go through it. Tomorrow night, we see showers beginning to return. As we head into Wednesday, we'll see more showers in the morning, but the real consistent wet weather comes our way during the afternoon and evening, along with some gusty winds as well. It's going to be quite a day, just really nasty. But we need this. We're going to get a couple of inches of rain out of it, hopefully, even more so to the east, and that should help with respect to drought. Now, Thursday, that's going to be tough, too. It's not the rain we're going to be dealing with, but temperatures, which are going to be 25 to 30 degrees cooler in some locations. So watch, we go from 60 to, let's say, 63 degrees, down to about 37 on Thursday, staying in the upper 30s on Friday, and then finally coming back to the 40s as we head into the weekend. Weekend weather, not so bad. Sunday, we are going to see those showers return most likely. 6 to 10 day outlook, we are going to, on average, be warmer than normal. And this is a look at your 10-day forecast. As you can see, next week, back into the upper 40s and low 50s. That's a look at your weather. 49 right now at 5:51.
Okay, Dave, thank you. And now we know the nominees for this year's Golden Globe Awards.
The musical Emilia Pérez leads the way with 10 nominations. The film about a Mexican drug lord who undergoes gender affirmation surgery got the nod for its 3 stars, as well as a Best Picture nomination. It's going to go up against the powerhouse Wicked from our sister company, Universal Pictures. The musical adaptation got 4 nominations in all, and The Bear came out on top on TV. The series is up for 5 awards this year. Winners will be announced January 5th. One of the more quirky museums in the country is set to close after 20 years when the owner retires.
The Bigfoot Discovery Museum in the Santa Cruz Mountains is soon going to issue its last howl into the wilderness. The museum boasted statues, collectibles, plaster foot and handprints of the fabled creature, and a detailed exhibit on the famous Patterson-Gimlin film about this purported Bigfoot. The owner, Michael Rugg, says it's a bittersweet goodbye, both to the museum and the community.
It's going to be weird for me, yeah. I'm so used to this, and I've been doing this for so long. To suddenly have it all go away and everything, it's going to be strange.
And Rugg says that he first saw Bigfoot when he was a kid. We think he means the film.
Right, from 1967, I think it was. All right. Coming up, a new way to protect yourself against unwanted attention at bars and nightclubs.
And it fits right in the palm of your hand.
I'm Greg Sergel in Freeport. If you've ever felt put upon or worse, harassed at a local bar or nightclub, 2 Long Islanders have now developed a new app to provide instant help. We'll tell you how it works coming up.
I'm Chuck Scarborough. Next at 6, it's the big break many have been waiting for. A man in custody hundreds of miles away in the calculated Midtown murder of a CEO. What we're learning about him now and what else the police found. And speeding toward a refund, the tri-state drivers who could get some green from those red light cameras. Those stories and much more with Natalie Pasquarello and I. See you at 6.
People who go to bars and clubs can add a new tool now to their phones designed to make nightlife safer.
It's called Angel Shot, and Long Island creators say customers can use the app to request help or alert employees about a potentially dangerous situation.
News 4's Greg Sergel has the story.
Even in his own Freeport bar, owner Stephen Brennan has seen customers, especially women, put in uncomfortable situations, or worse, being harassed.
It's inevitable in the bar industry that something's going to happen. It is. You know, there's always going to be someone out there that's going to try ruin your night.
Brennan's answer is this new safety app called Angel Shot.
Download the Angel Shot app today for free and experience a safer night out.
The app allows patrons to use their phones to send immediate messages asking for help to staff in the bar, club, or restaurant.
I'm going to say that I feel uncomfortable. This guy is harassing me. He won't leave me alone. So I need some assistance.
Once I feel my phone vibrate or I see something on the iPad, I know then that something's going on.
At that point, Brennan says his staff can respond in whatever way the patron requests, including calling police.
If someone knows that they have a line of communication to either the bartender or security, that's going to make them feel a little bit more at ease.
Co-developer Jimmy LaSalle describes it as the app that everyone should have and never use.
Have you ever been in that situation when you feel like a guy is pressuring you to talk to him?
It's like he won't take no for an answer.
Angel Shot's creators are now turning to social media to convince both venues and customers to sign up and use the app. The Angel Shot app is free for both patrons and the owners of bars and restaurants. Right now, about 50 local establishments are signed up to use it.
It's like having your own guardian angel.
Using the app, LaSalle says, shouldn't expose bars and nightclubs to liability issues. The ultimate goal is really a lot more simple.
I want people to know that they can come here, feel safe, feel comfortable.
In Freeport, Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Thank you for watching.
And stay with us now as the news continues.
Now at 6, not guilty after a deadlock on count 1 and acquittal on count 2 in the subway chokehold trial. The relief and the outrage tonight.
But first, a big break. The man now in custody in connection to the murder of United Healthcare CEO. The tip that led police to him hundreds of miles away. That is where we begin tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pasquarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. As of right now, police are calling him a strong person of interest, not a suspect. What appears to be a major break-in the case on the day the victim is laid to rest.
Investigators have identified their major person of interest as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. Police say he had fake IDs and a gun similar to the one used in the Midtown murder of Brian Thompson last Wednesday.
Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, nearly 300 miles from the crime scene. A tipster spotting him and calling the police. News 4 Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dietz is live in the newsroom right now. And Jonathan, Mangione is set to face a judge in a matter of minutes now.
That's right, Chuck. And police say he was arrested carrying a gun and other materials at a Pennsylvania McDonald's, materials that investigators say could link him to the CEO killing. This person of interest expected to soon appear in court in Pennsylvania on an illegal weapons charge. A 5-day nationwide manhunt apparently coming to an end 300 miles from New York City.
We have a strong person of interest in the shooting that shook our city.
Police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, arresting 26-year-old Luigi Mangione on a gun charge, and they're looking into whether he's connected to the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police.
A McDonald's employee apparently recognizing Mangione from photos released by the NYPD after Wednesday morning's attack in Midtown Manhattan. Altoona police say they found a trove of evidence, including this ghost gun.
Officers recovered a firearm on his person, as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder.
Police say Mangione also had a mask and clothes and a fake ID, similar to what the shooter had on Wednesday.
Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident.
And police found a 3-page handwritten note, apparently complaining about healthcare companies, speaking to a possible motive.
Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he had some ill will toward corporate America.
The NYPD in Altoona trying to question Mangione about the murder, as police credit the public for the tip that led to him.
We should never underestimate the power of the public to be our eyes and our ears in these investigations.
No word yet if Mangione made any statements to police after his arrest in connection with this murder investigation. Police sources tell us they are looking at social media postings that include anger at healthcare companies and writings about past acts of violence and whether Mangione, who is Ivy League educated, is behind any of those social media posts. He could again appear in court in Pennsylvania sometime after 6:30 on the gun possession charge. Natalie.
Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dietz following the latest. Now, another big story that we are following today, some swift reaction in and out of the courtroom in the Daniel Penny deadly subway chokehold case. Now, on day 5 of jury deliberations, 12 jurors found the Marine veteran not guilty in the death of Jordan Neely. News 4's Chris Glorioso live in Lower Manhattan with reaction from both sides. Chris.
Well, Daniel Penny did not testify in this trial, and he did not speak publicly as he walked out of the Manhattan criminal court a free man. But his defense team did post a picture on social media showing them celebrating at a nearby bar. And meanwhile, Jordan Neely's father did go before the cameras, in which case he expressed disgust and exhaustion.
I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts.
Jordan Neely's father cursed and was escorted out of the courtroom after the jury foreperson read the verdict. Daniel Penny not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. Outside court, protesters condemned the verdict, while counter-protesters condemned DA Alvin Bragg for seeking the felony indictment in the first place.
I think Alvin Bragg is a disaster.
The district attorney did a good job, but the jury in this case let us down.
After the acquittal, DA Bragg issued a statement saying the jury has now spoken. At the Manhattan DA's office, we deeply respect the jury process, and we respect their verdict. Ever since video emerged showing Daniel Penny's nearly 6-minute chokehold of a homeless man aboard an Uptown F train, the case against Penny has been a national lightning rod, highlighting a cultural divide over safety, self-defense, and the appropriate response to mental illness.
And shame on this jury.
At trial, Penny's defense team argued their client has been villainized for stepping in to protect commuters who testified they were deeply frightened by Neely's verbal threats and violent gestures.
To me, this is just so clear-cut. There is no complexity to this case. Daniel Penny is an American hero and should be let free immediately.
But civil rights advocates stress Neely never physically harmed anyone, and they say Penny's chokehold was a drastic and deadly overreaction to a homeless man who was angry about being hungry.
That does not mean that gives people the right to choke him out because he was upset. That, like, homelessness or being poor is not a death sentence.
It shouldn't be, certainly.
Procedurally, today's not guilty verdict did leave some court watchers scratching their heads. That's because last week the jury sent 2 notes saying they were deadlocked on the most serious manslaughter charge. That suggested to some that at least one person on this jury wanted to convict on the more serious charge. But now, a day later, here on Monday, the jury was unanimous, not wanting to convict even on the lesser charge. Again, Daniel Penny not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. He still does face a civil wrongful death lawsuit. Reporting live in front of Manhattan Criminal Court, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.
All right, Chris, thank you. And now to Storm Team 4. The rain is clearing out of our area after a wet afternoon, but there is another storm set to deliver much more rain later this week. Dave Price is in for Janice Huff with our first forecast. Dave.
Yeah, and Chuck, we need that rain. We have a little bit more tonight. That's going to begin to work its way out over the next hour or two as we head to the east into sections of Connecticut and Long Island. Most of tomorrow looks dry, but we are going to see some scattered showers. And then into the evening, maybe some more consistent rain. But Wednesday looks like a soaker. Upwards of 2 inches of rain, maybe even more out to the east as you take a look at sections of Suffolk County and in through sections of coastal Connecticut as well. We need this rain very badly. We have drought conditions, and you can see that deficit takes us through the summer season, in through autumn, and now into the beginning of winter. So we look at the live radar. This is our last gasp of moisture right now as we see things pushing to the north and east. We take a look at Crotona Park in the background. Temperatures stay stable, 49 degrees right now, northeast winds at 9. Will slowly but surely dry out, but we've got significant rain coming our way for Wednesday and then bitter cold for the end of the week. We'll talk about that in our full forecast. Back to you.
Dave, thanks. We'll see you soon. Still ahead, the drivers who could see a little more green in their wallets thanks to some red light camera refunds.
And he's not the highest paid player in all of professional sports, but the deal is eye-wateringly huge. Bruce Beck with the blockbuster Juan Soto contract that has the sports world talking tonight.
You're watching News 4 New York at 6 with Chuck Scarborough, Natalie Pascarella, Sports with Bruce Beck, and the most accurate forecast with meteorologist Janice Huff. This is News 4 New York at 6.
This is Chuck Scarborough's final week here at WNBC, and we will be celebrating him this week until his final live broadcast on Thursday. But right now, we do have David Ushery joining us for a very special look back.
Those words don't even sound right, Chuck's final week. It just doesn't register. Chuck actually hit the 50-year mark here in March. And throughout the year, he has taken us on his career journey, which is extraordinary. Chuck Scarborough is truly a cornerstone of this place we call 30 Rock. And here's why.
There is no power at all at Bellevue Hospital.
From New York City's infamous dark night to its darkest hour.
We've just gotten word the story gets steadily worse. Now, 7 World Trade Center has collapsed.
To its long stretch of dark days.
At any moment, we could learn if there was a third known case of novel coronavirus in New York.
Chuck Scarborough has been a light to lead the way, an iconic beacon on the city landscape that has been as tall, steady, and recognizable as the Empire State Building. 50 years ago, Chuck came to New York City with a swagger and a mission. Tapped to boost the ratings of the NBC flagship station.
Mike, this is Chuck. You and I are going to have a little conversation. You've got the top of the 6th tonight.
Yes, he had the velvet voice and dashing good looks, but he also had what people in the biz call gravitas, the chops to get out of the studio and do some good storytelling. Chuck has done that a lot.
I was able to, for whatever reason, build up a reservoir of trust with the audience over time.
President Johnson told a news conference today.
Chuck started building that reservoir of trust with the audience in Biloxi, Mississippi, after a stint in the Air Force as an electronics engineer working on intercontinental ballistic missiles.
You know, I walked in the door and I said, look, I know something about electronics, I know something about TV, perhaps I could be of help. And I got hired.
It wasn't long before bigger markets came calling. Atlanta, Boston, then the biggest of them all, New York City.
Winning this race is as good as winning the new New York State Lottery.
At a time in the Big Apple when crime was spiraling and disco balls were spinning, Chuck leaned in with a commanding gaze and a reporter's eye. Over the decades, he guided viewers through the city's wildest times and its most devastating.
I knew why the buildings fell down immediately, but I had a job to do then. You know, I had to look at this objectively. I had to look at this analytically. I had to look at this sympathetically. I had to begin to try to piece it together. What happened? Who did this?
Like so many of us, Chuck mourned and remembered 9/11 in ways public and private. His annual visit to the pride of Midtown Firehouse, which lost every member on duty that day, just one example.
And I have made it a point to go back on every anniversary, just go back, drop into the firehouse, see how they're doing, because it just seems important to me.
In the years since, Chuck has found the right words when it seems like there are none to describe the horror in front of us. At Sandy Hook in Newtown, he was on the ground just hours after sheer madness. And in the barren months of COVID, Chuck offered words of comfort and resolve for the weary.
Instead of revealing itself in a single explosive morning, it is 9/11 in slow motion. I thought I should tell the viewers, really, that this will get through this. After the shock and loss, we recovered. This pandemic will pass, and as certain as the sunrise, we will do it all again.
But lest you think it's been all doom and gloom with Chuck, he's had plenty of moments of fun on this ride, and off camera, he is known for a robust sense of humor.
When the snow begins to accumulate, it's time to go check the avalanche conditions. Let's go.
I didn't tighten my visor. I heard something back there.
Beginning in 1974 with Jim Hartz, Chuck has had many solid co-anchors through the years.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cafferty. I'm Chuck Scarborough.
Good evening, I'm Chuck Scarborough.
And I'm Natalie Pascarella.
But there is only one Sue Simmons. She joined Chuck in 1980 at 11 p.m. and stuck around for 32 years.
Sue just arrived with just a bang. I mean, she was such a big personality and so playful and irreverent and kept everybody on their toes. You never knew what Sue was going to say.
Right.
Because as I've said many times, she's never had an unspoken thought.
So when somebody asks you, what was it like working with Sue, what do you say?
It was a once-in-a-lifetime thrill.
A once-in-a-lifetime thrill.
Al Roker was a part of that anchor team for a long time and has known Chuck Scarborough for decades.
What Chuck's superpower is, and has always been, is that he's a great team player. The team of Chuck and Sue is still one of the greatest anchor teams in local television news.
It's been a wonderful privilege. It really has been. To have worked at the National Broadcasting Company for half a century.
We love that. Al said it perfectly. The perfect team player, and sharing the desk with you, Chuck, it truly has been such the privilege of my life, such an honor, and on a personal note, just a dear friend as well. We're going to savor every moment this week. We truly are.
Well, the feeling's mutual, and I'm leaving you in very good hands here with David. Here, David is taking over 46, but you know, David is a triple threat. You got to watch him. Great writer, great reporter, and fantastic anchor. So you're in very good hands.
Amen. That's the truth.
Well, you know, guys, there's been a lot of dark humor about me measuring the drapes in Chuck's office, moving some furniture in, offering to drive him off the last day. None of that is true.
He's kidding.
David, I'm not giving him the keys, you know, until...
I know you're not. But let me say this.
Yeah.
Chuck, you and I, and Natalie, you'll appreciate this. You and I both walked into a newsroom today that was fully engaged on two major stories. Obviously, arrest and the CEO killing and the verdict in the subway chokehold. So our colleagues are supportive of this moment, but they were busy. They were busy up in the newsroom, and Chuck and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
I've said it before. I've said it. I'll say it again. It's not hyperbole. It's not overly done. Chuck Scarborough walked into this building today the same way he walked in 50 years ago. And that is to say, curious about the story, worried about the tone of the story, worried about the facts in the story, worried about the storytelling. He walked in the same day today, the same way today as he did 50 years ago. And that means you leave me and all of us the responsibility to keep doing that.
Oh, that's a very high compliment, David. I'm really quite touched. Thank you very much. And it's been such a pleasure working here all these years. It's hard to believe that we're down to the last 4 days.
You got it 100% right, though.
So am I...
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
not yet. No,
not yet. He's not stepping over yet. Not yet. But getting to work really with the best of the best. So we're excited about it too, David. Get back into it. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be great. We're going to be right back with Storm Team 4 in just minutes. We'll see you soon.
6:20, Chuck apparently filed the restraining order, so I'm over here at the weather wall. Nice to see you, and congratulations, Chuck. So happy to be part of this final week with you. Live radar picture right now. As we look to the west, we are seeing clearing, at least drying. And as we look to the east, we're still going to be dealing with a little wet weather for the next hour or two as all this begins to push on off to the north and east. So Suffolk County, sections of coastal Connecticut, you're still going to be dealing with wet weather. We look at Rockefeller Plaza right now. We got up to a high of just about 51 degrees today. That's about 5 degrees up from where we should be. And we were at 44 degrees on the low end, about 8 degrees warmer than typical. As we look at the month of December so far, 2 days with measurable precipitation. Rainfall to date, about 1/4 of an inch, and we should be at over 1.25 inches. So what's this mean? We are still in a significant rain deficit, and we need a lot of rain. We are going to get a good dose as we head into the middle of the week. We'll talk about that in a moment. For the time being, we've got the crystal, we've got the lights, we've got the guests, and we've got relatively comfortable conditions right now to stroll around Manhattan. Temperatures aren't going to change all that much. Clouds are going to be out there, and as we head through the overnight, a 1 or 2 degree jump from here to there, and that's about it. As we head into Tuesday evening and even into the afternoon, we could see some scattered showers. That is a harbinger of things to come. As we head into Wednesday, more wet weather to start off the day and the heaviest stuff as we head into the afternoon and evening, along with gusty winds and really warm temperatures. Those numbers into the 60s out to the west and at the 60-degree mark in the city. By Thursday, much different story. 25 to 30 degrees cooler in some locations, and we are going to see the possibility of some light snow showers or at least some flurries through parts of the region. We net out with 1 to 2 inches Tuesday night into Wednesday, 2 to 3 out to the east. Precipitation chance as we look at things, Wednesday it's near 100%, and as we head into Tuesday evening, it looks like we'll see some rain. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are dry, and then Sunday night into Monday, another shot. We are going to go from comfortable to warm to frigid as we wrap up the work week, and then we'll begin our climb back to more comfy conditions. Tonight down to 45 degrees. Southwest winds are going to be on the light side. Let's take a look at the 10-day forecast together. And as we see into next week, temperatures in the 40s and 50s and a couple of more chances of showers. Still drier than we'd like, but we are going to make some progress this week. That's a look at your weather. Chuck, I'm still 200 feet away, so I'm okay. Back to you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Nassau drivers who were overcharged for red light camera tickets could soon see some money back in their pockets. That's because Democratic county legislators unveiled a bill today to refund what they call excessive administrative fees. It all comes after the state appeals court ruled that Nassau's fees were illegal. Drivers were seeing an extra $100 tacked onto their tickets, which is more than the red light fine itself. Now, the Fair Fees Accountability Act would ban those high fees and refund the overcharged drivers. We're going to be right back with Bruce Beck in sports next.
The Spectrum Sports Desk is brought to you by Spectrum, a connection built for everywhere. That's life unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Bruce Beck is at Chelsea Piers tonight for a fundraiser for St. Barnabas Hospital. But speaking of fundraising, how about that contract for Juan Soto?
Unbelievable, Chuck. We'll talk more about this event at Pier 60 at Chelsea Piers in just a moment. But right now, everything is taking a backseat to the Juan Soto blockbuster. Baseball's winter meetings are going on right now in Dallas. And as you might expect, the talk of all of Texas is Soto and the Mets.
There's a lot to lie when you're looking at a player that worth that much money, you know, not only what they do on the field, but off the field. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, you know, but, you know, we want to win. We want to win, and we have an owner that is willing to do whatever it takes, so.
So tonight is a big gala. 36 athletes are on hand, raising money for SBH Health and St. Barnabas Hospital, a safety net hospital. Tyrone Tracy of the Giants has enjoyed an outstanding year, even though things haven't gone well for Big Blue. The rookie leads the team with 5 touchdowns and also leads them in total yards with 664. How are you staying focused on all the individual things you've been able to do, even though the team has really struggled?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a chance to lace up your cleats, you know, get on that green grass and play football, you want to put your best foot forward. So as a team, obviously we haven't come across, you know, with the win, but every time we get out there on the football field, you want to be competitive, you know, and that's just in me, you know what I'm saying? It's just something in me that anytime I lace my cleats up, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm putting on a show for whoever's watching. You know, I'm being looked at as entertainment, so I want to be entertainment to the person who's watching, you know. So the individual goals, they're cool and all, but, you know, coming across, you know, a W, that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Why are you so good at the goal line? You've got 5 touchdowns.
Oh, that's a great question. And, you know, it's just something that, you know, I'm just a heavy set, I guess you could say. You know, I run hard, you know, I run fast and physical. So when they get down to the goal line, you know, I think it's me versus the other person, and I'm betting on me every time.
What does it mean for you tonight to be able to give back?
I mean, it's everything to me. Giving back into the community is something that I've always wanted to do. So anytime I can, like, literally come and show my face, because I don't know, like, what the other person's going through. I don't know, you know, me showing up might make their week, make their day, make their month, because I don't know how many times they're going to be able to say, I met an NFL player. So me coming and showing my face and just showing up in the community and helping people out, you know, that's something I always want to do.
Great job, my friend. Tyrone Tracy is going to be a guy, a definite force in the future. He's part of the big night here at Chelsea Piers for SBH Health. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Bruce, thank you.
Seems like a great event. Okay, coming up next on NBC Nightly News, continuing coverage of our big story as police arrest a person of interest on gun charges in the killing of the health insurance CEO here in Manhattan. Plus, Lester Holt interviewing the parents of American Austin Tice, held in Syria for 12 years, and the American who won the biggest title for a U.S. women's figure skater in more than a decade. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt starts now.